My name is Clara May. I am 34 years old, and I grew up in a poor fishing village where the wind was strong and life was harder. My hands learned work before they learned rest. Since I was a girl, I cleaned floors, carried water, cooked simple meals, and prayed quietly before sleeping. I believed that if I worked honestly, life would one day be kind to me. For many years, I worked at a large countryside house owned by a wealthy woman named Mrs. Evelyn Hart. The house stood on a hill, surrounded by tall trees and wide land. People said it looked like a place from a dream, but for workers like me, it was only a place of long days and tired nights. I did everything there. I woke before sunrise, lit the stove, prepared breakfast, cleaned rooms, washed clothes by hand, fed animals, and worked until my back burned. I never complained. I often hummed soft psalms while I worked, psalms my mother taught me. Other workers said my voice made the house feel warmer. Mrs. Hart rarely spoke to me, but her husband, Mr. Thomas Hart, was different. He was quiet, older, and gentle. Sometimes he asked if I had eaten. Sometimes he thanked me. That small kindness meant more than money. But Mrs. Hart did not like that. Her eyes followed me like knives. She hated the way her husband spoke to me with respect. Slowly, her anger grew. If the floor shined, she said it was dirty. If food tasted good, she said it was too salty. If I rested for 1 minute, she accused me of being lazy. I stayed silent. I believed patience was strength. One morning, everything changed. Mr. Hart left early for a long trip. The house felt cold that day. Mrs. Hart called me into the yard. Her voice was sharp. 2 guards stood behind her. She said, "You are no longer needed here. Take your things and leave now." My heart dropped. I asked softly, "What did I do wrong?" She stepped closer and said, "You exist. That is enough." She allowed me to take only a small bag and an old goat that no one wanted. Nothing else. I held back tears, bowed my head, and said, "I wish you peace." She laughed coldly. I walked away from the only place I knew, holding the rope of the goat, with nowhere to go. The road was long and empty. The sun burned my skin. My feet hurt, but I kept walking. When night came, I rested near a broken fence. I shared my bread with the goat and looked at the dark sky. I whispered, "God, I have nothing, but I still trust you." That night, I slept on the ground. At dawn, I woke to a strange sound. The goat stood beside me, and on the dirt was something shining. A small silver coin lay there, clean and bright. I had no idea how it got there, but I cried. I took it as hope. I walked to a nearby town and used the coin to buy food and wood. With my hands, I built a small shelter near a river. Days passed. I planted seeds, fixed nets, and cared for the goat. One day, I found another coin. Then another. People came to buy milk and vegetables. My small land grew into a place of life. I worked harder than ever, but now every drop of sweat was for myself. One afternoon, a carriage stopped near my land. Mrs. Hart stepped out, pale and quiet. Her wealth was gone. Her husband had left. She looked at my small house and cried. She said, I was wrong. Please forgive me. I looked at her and felt no anger. I said, I forgave you the day I left. Behind her, Mr. Hart arrived. He smiled and said, You built a life with nothing. That is real strength. I looked at my land, my shelter, my animals, and felt peace. I was once thrown out with nothing, but I learned this truth. When you lose everything, you may finally find yourself.
Подпишись, пожалуйста, или хотя бы поставь лайк. Один лайк не меняет мир, но меняет путь того, кто делится смыслом.